Hey guys, so I'm just back with the S10 here, having some trouble with the new 427, putting in some new race headers. So the problem is this 427 has got 245 AFR heads on it, so it's going to need 2-inch headers for debris. So what I have here, I got the Headsman 2-inch primary, 3.5-inch collector race header, and these are fender well exits, so they exit right down through there. And the other ones I have are the Skull and Field 1 7/8 inch to 2-inch stepped race headers, and they exit out through the front, so they come forward instead of go backwards. So I'm kind of just in the middle of trying to determine which ones to go with. The problem with the Headsmans, I do like them; they're a higher quality header, and I'd like to use them. But the problem is I can't turn the truck. The turning radius has very little. Yeah, you can't turn it very well, so I'd be while I'm in the pits and stuff, I'd be melting the tires on the headers all the time. So yeah, so my plan is to take off these fenders right now and mock up the Skull and Fields, because I think I'm going to go with those ones. You guys can drop a comment below on what you guys think, but that's what we'll do. Pretty much these Skull and Field headers are not going to work whatsoever for this build. Maybe I can show you with one hand, it might be hard here. But essentially, I got the steering shaft removed, booster, master cylinder all removed, everything. And I go to put these in, and the flange pretty much right. That'll be close enough, I think, but like it literally rams into my radiator. And this radiator might be a little bit big for racing, but I mean, it's just unacceptable. I'm really disappointed with these Skull and Field headers, to be honest with you. They've showed up from Summit Racing with like, this is what they look like. Like, this is not for me. This is how they showed up. They look like they're like used headers, but anyway, for people with an S10 and they want some front exit headers, I would not recommend these at all, unless you got a tiny radiator. Also, the brake booster is going to have to be modified. Steering shaft's going to have to be modified. So to me, it's just not worth it to run these headers. Anyway, so the plan is to go back to these Headsman 2-inch race headers and put them in. They're pointed directly at the fucking ground, so I'm gonna have to kick them up and run them out the side. I don't know. It's pretty disappointing, but I guess we'll just have to keep going. So the thing about the 2-inch Headsman race headers is they come with these adapter plates. You have to bolt up the adapter plates first, scribe them, then you have to hog them all out. And yeah, I'm gonna have to figure out something to do with the steering. Proceeding on with the 427, we have the headers now installed. I'll give you a little rundown. These are the Headsman Hustler headers, as you can see right there. Pretty nice construction. That's all TIG welded up there. Now, since this is a small block Chevy that requires 2-inch headers, they have an adapter plate, and you can see the adapter plate in between the cylinder head right there. So that adapter plate allows you to run a different bolt pattern. So pretty much I had to use a die grinder and match the adapter plate to my cylinder head. So I bolted them on, I scribed the backside on each exhaust port, and then took them out and die grinded them all, and now we installed them. Headsman does a really good job at like making them super tight to the firewall. Like you can see the clearance there. Obviously, if you're going to run these headers, you have to be solid mounted. There can be no movement, really. But yeah, they're not hitting anything. They're really close, but they're not hitting anything. So one issue that we're going to have is turning radius. We're going to address that pretty soon here. We're going to put the front end back together and try turn the wheels. I know it's not going to be very good, but we'll just have to work with it. Maybe some different rims and different offset or spacers. I don't know. Also, I do not like the fact that these headers are pointed directly at the ground, as it's going to kick up a huge amount of dust and dirt, and the engine will probably be aspirating that. So what we're going to do is these collectors are just bolted on, like most collectors are. We're going to just slip these off and try to do up a 3.5-inch mandrel bent piece that will swing it and hopefully dump it out right around this area. But I mean, there's other issues with the cab mount and stuff, so we'll have to figure that out, but just keep going. The other thing that I found is steering shaft. This is the stock steering shaft, which probably isn't the greatest idea anymore. you know, based on the fact of how fast this thing's going to be going down the quarter mile now. But for right now, I think I'm going to use the lathe and machine up a little extension piece and connect the, we got an aftermarket steering shaft in this thing. It's a aluminum shaft. You can kind of see it running up through there. So it's a really lightweight aluminum shaft, but so that part's good. But just the intermediate shaft is the part that's bad. But yeah, like I said, I'll just machine up a piece and connect it here safely, so yeah, it passes tech and everything. So yeah, this side was a little bit of a pain in the ass. As you can see, we got wires right here, so all this is going to have to be rerouted. I'm just making a steering shaft extension on the lathe right now. I'm just center drilling it. My plan is, here's the stock piece or whatever. I'm going to make a receiver and weld it into this part here, and then have the extension come out to there, up to the steering column.